Welcome back to another episode of Wedtalks. Today we have something super fun planned for you guys. We are chatting with the girls of Charcu in the Lou. So Charcu in the Lou is a luxury charcuterie company here in St. Louis, Missouri, and you guys do all the things, right? So introduce yourselves and kind of tell me a little bit about each of you.
Okay. My name is Corey Bickford, and
I'm Caitlin Brown.
I'll speak for myself. I'm from St. Louis, born and raised, grew up in Baldwin, not far from here. And I'm a speech language pathologist by trade, but I've always had a really creative side and loved like crafting and like computer graphic stuff, like graphic design and marketing and things like that. And Caitlin and I grew up together, and we both knew we had that creative niche, and we never really knew we would turn it into a business, but here we are. So,
And I also grew up in Baldwin. Like Corey said, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've always kind of done this just for fun, for girls' nights or whatever. And during COVID, we decided, why don't we just give it a shot and see if we can make this a business? And we never really expected it to be anything, but here we are.
Yeah. So what was like your original vision with it? Like when you guys got together, that first conversation, because I feel like charcuterie boards just in the last like 5 years or 4 years. You were really early on the trend, especially in the Midwest, because we get things last here.
Right.
Just kind of like filters from the coast. So like you guys were, I think, the OG charcuterie girls here in St. Louis. And you just kind of like exploded. So tell me what your initial thought was. Like what were you trying to achieve with the business?
I think just something where we could be creative, and we had both ordered from other people who'd made charcuterie boards, and we're like, you know what, why don't we try? Because we like doing this for fun as a hobby, but like, why don't we try and use our creative side as an outlet and make a business out of it? And I don't even know that I'd heard the word charcuterie and probably until that year.
I know people are always like, you must love meat and cheese. It's like,
nope.
Yeah,
not really. I don't really like, I don't seek it. I like cheese, but I'm not going to be like, let's go.
Yeah, and it was just kind of a fun, like, especially during COVID, like you really weren't doing a whole lot, and we would just kind of be creative and post on Instagram, and it's almost therapeutic for me.
Yeah,
I think.
we liked the creative outlet, and we never thought it would manifest in meat and cheese.
No.
Yeah.
But like we both kind of saw that like it was an interesting like new thing in St. Louis, and then I was like, let's think of a cute name. And once I thought of the name, I called Caitlin. I'll never forget. I was like driving on 270 and 40, and I was like, charcuterie in the Lou. And I was like, once I thought of it, I called her and she's like, let's do it. What are you doing tomorrow night? Like, let's make a board. Let's make an Instagram.
And then we like sketched out like the logo, and they had a local girl design it for us. And then just kind of
cute.
The first picture we took, though, which we still laugh about, was in my parents' garage at nighttime. And I had my dad's painting light, and we had it on a ladder on a folding
so
table
dark,
in the garage. It
so
was
ugly.
So thinking back to that, we've come far, but we thought it was so good at the beginning.
We were like so proud taking pictures at like 10 o'clock at night in November.
And now we cringe. I'm like, that lighting is terrible. And
You learn a lot about photography in
my
the business
goodness,
owner, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes you appreciate it a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
And one of the things Corey will touch on is at the beginning, we kind of just did the cheese and meat, but then we got ideas we can talk about this story, but doing like dessert ones and brunch ones. And so one thing kind of led to another. And
So we started the week of November 13th. So it was like right before holiday peak season. We made some charcuterie Thanksgiving boards called the Gobble Board, the OG Gobble Board. And we were like, let's start doing other things. We made a hot chocolate board. And Lauren is actually a huge part of our story. So I was getting family photos for Christmas with Lauren. I never even met you yet, but I
You
just
and the dogs.
I loved your work, and I like stalked you on Insta and brought my dogs, brought my husband, and I was like, I might as well just gift you a board. So I brought one of our hot chocolate boards. Lauren shared it, and the next day we had like 800 new young moms following our page, and it just kind of snowballed. And the next week we were featured in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and things just kind of escalated. And so Lauren was like the catalyst that kind of like took
so
us
sweet.
to the next level. And
Well, that's how it was fun. I got to, I met Corey, and she was like, it was like very cute. She's like, so we're kind of doing this new thing. Like, we're not really sure about it, but I made you this cute board. If you don't mind, like, I would love for you to maybe share it if you like it. I was like, of course. And it was the cutest thing. And I'm not just saying this. The girls went crazy over it. And, at the time I had maybe like a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they just went crazy over this board in 2020 when everything just crap and there's nothing to do, families at home and kind of doing the fun little activities at home. Super cute.
Yeah.
And since then, we have done actually an event at the venue
That was so fun.
where we did a witches night out, and it was a charcuterie class, and we watched a Disney movie that was
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. We watched Hocus Pocus too. Had like bonfires. It was so fun. I wish we could have done it this year. We didn't have a night that we could do it. But yeah, there are so many different cool things you can do with charcuterie. And I feel like we should just hop in and talk about what you can do with charcuterie at your wedding.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. So I think the number one thing that we see here at Westwind Hills is a grazing table. So can you guys explain, just kind of say someone has no idea what we're talking about, explain what that is.
So a grazing table is pretty much a charcuterie board, but it covers an entire table or countertop or kitchen island. And it's just a very aesthetically pleasing, pretty way to wow your guests. Typically we do, cheese, meats, and all that stuff. We've also done brunch ones and some s'mores or dessert ones. But it's just a really fun way to do during your cocktail hour, just something different for your guests that's also really pretty to look at.
Yeah, it's a wow factor.
Yeah, and there's also something for everyone. Like some people want the cheese and meat. There's also dips and nuts. So there's pretty much something for everyone.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, like the past apps are great and we love our caterers, but sometimes they kind of go unnoticed. Like you were noticing an 8-foot food covered
It brings
table.
that wow factor and that like luxury feel, I feel like, because it's like this big overflowing bountiful spread that it's kind of like one of a kind. I mean, every table we do is different and you can customize it. So if you have certain things you like or don't like, or you want custom cookies with your wedding logo on them, like we've incorporated those. So you can really get creative with it.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's why we love them.
Yeah,
We
can
just
you
love
do
being
like
creative.
couples, like favorite foods, or like, have you ever done like a St. Louis theme one?
We did like toasted ravioli. I think we did like
the Billy
pretzel
Goat
boys.
chips. We've done like we did one with like the root beer. I mean, it kind of like was just St. Louis foods, like the arch from St. Louis chocolate.
But it's like the way that they display it that is just like so beautiful and creative. I can't even explain it. You have to see photos of it.
Yeah, we love a good theme. So when someone comes to us with one that we've never done, it's almost like a challenge, and it's just really fun for us to be creative and do something we've never done before.
Well, speaking of challenges, so what are like the top challenges you face with doing them at weddings?
I think the time of the year, the heat is probably the biggest challenge if you're seeking that outdoor cocktail hour, which is obviously beautiful if you're doing like sunset golden hour. So we just have to keep in mind the placement of it. If you are wanting it outside, shades preferred, using those little propeller fans to shoo bugs away. And then also just figuring out the size, like how many people they're serving.
Yeah. So how do you figure, and how is it priced? Is it per foot?
So every company does it a little bit differently.
Okay.
We do it by the square foot,
Okay.
and we've kind of calculated out the ounces of meat and cheese that we put on our standard foot. And 1 square foot serves around 15 appetizers for like a light appetizer, 2 ounces of cheese, 1 ounce of meat. So
cool.
We used to do it like per person, but it just got kind of tricky. So now it's like people know they're paying for 5 feet. They're going to know what that looks like. And
then there's
no
Exactly.
like surprises on the day of.
Yeah.
They're like, why is it small? It's like, well, you paid for exactly this many square feet.
Yes.
So you're not like underwhelmed or overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
exactly what you're paying for.
the one thing I think we get a lot is people like, oh, that's not going to be big enough. And then they order more. And we pretty much, we've done a lot of them now. So we kind of have an idea of how much you should get for that amount of people. And most of the time people are surprised, like, oh, wait, that was enough. So
yeah. And I would say like, just trust your professionals, like with any part of your wedding. A lot of people like fear that it's too small or too big. And it's just like, we've done this so many times. Like we can do these in our sleep. Just trust us.
Just trust.
And a lot of times, brides will, if they want specific tiers or stands, and then they end up, stressing out about it. And then they end up ordering ours anyway. So it's like, we know what we have them. We're happy to provide them. We use them all the time. So we know how to like build them in and make that aesthetic and look good for you, rather than like bringing outside in. It's one less thing you have to stress out about on your big day.
Because they're elevated and like tons of different levels.
it just looks a lot prettier that way.
Yeah.
And I love them so much. I got married last week and I had a grazing table at my wedding. I didn't do it, but I
How
needed
could
to have
you
one.
not?
I know.
mean, that would have
I
been
know.
just a crime.
I know.
Sacrilegious.
I love it.
And it was even better that I didn't have to make it. So
Yeah,
Did
we
you
took
do
the
the
day
whole
off.
thing?
No, we outsourced.
You had
so
your team
Caitlin
do
and I
it.
could relax.
I love
enjoy
it.
the day.
it was amazing. Yeah.
So here we have like standard 6-foot tables, and then we have our 8-foot feasting tables, which are similar to like a dining room table. So our clients ask us all the time for the charcuterie table, should we do the 6 or 8 foot? So the guest count should determine that.
I would say
and sometimes
so.
we can double it up, or instead of like one long skinny one, we'll do like 6 foot by 2 feet. So it's actually deeper. So it just kind of depends on how much space you have. And
I mean, I feel like generally a bigger table is better if you have plates and napkins and like cutlery you want to set out next to it. The 8 foot would probably fit that better. So you're not cramming everything.
and there's room on the sides to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they can stick some frames on it.
Right. Add
make it
decor
cuter.
and flowers.
Yeah. So do you guys handle, when you're at venues, do you handle the setup and the cleanup of the charcuterie?
So we do all of the setup. That's a fee that we add on to the package whenever you inquire and sign up with us. That includes delivery and setup. We usually come a few hours ahead of time to unload and give ourselves plenty of time to like map out the design and like bring it to life.
Yeah.
This cleanup is rather easy. People can pay more to add the cleanup, but really it's just rolling up the butcher paper and tossing whatever is extra.
Yeah.
Some people put out like to-go boxes if there's extra that people can like take home, but for the most part it just gets demolished and tossed.
I feel like there's rarely any left.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right.
And I mean, this is probably kind of gross, especially when it's sitting outside in certain months. But like, I swear, even if it's sitting out there, people are drinking.
It's a good snack for late night.
It's a good late night snack, and it never killed anybody.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
It's very rare there's stuff left.
Yeah.
It's usually crumbs and it just gets rolled up and tossed.
Yeah.
So it's super easy.
Yeah, we love when people send us the after videos.
Yeah.
Like we know what it looks like, and then we leave, and we're like, awesome, that got demolished.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to see those.
So we talked about the cocktail hour board. So tell me about like dessert boards. And like here at Westwind Hills, we have fire pits that you can add on.
Yeah.
So tell me kind of like what you guys could do to go with the fire pits.
So we've done some s'mores boards. We've actually done quite a few of those.
Yeah.
Like at the grazing table, which is really fun.
They're so fun this time, like in the
Yeah.
fall. We
It's
just
really
did
like a
one-
month, like a 4-week period that you
Yeah.
have. That's-
Yeah.
They're
that's
most
cool.
popular like September through November, I
Yeah.
would say.
That's also a good late night after you've been drinking dessert. Just to
I did
crush
one
some
last
s'mores.
weekend and they texted me. They were like, it got demolished. Like there was none left. And I put out like so many boxes of graham crackers. So
Well, it's an
they
activity.
just, it's an interactive experience
Yeah.
for sure. And like the bonfires are drawn to anyway in the evening
Yes.
outside at night, and you know the smoke, the smell, and then they include chocolates, marshmallows, like every size marshmallow that exists,
Like different
peanut
kinds of
butter,
cookies, just like so
cookies.
many kinds of chocolate, and
Yeah, like these are not your average s'more boards. Like,
Yeah.
you'll have to send me some pictures so
Oh,
I
yeah.
can post them throughout.
those are
this.
so fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're super
Who wants
cool.
to book one? We'd love to do it.
I know. We love it. So for them to book this, just get in touch through Charcu and the Lou on your website.
Yep.
And I know we have exclusive catering here, but we do allow, that is a question we get all the time.
Yeah.
We do allow Charcu and the Lou to come in and do charcuterie boards, of course, or like late night desserts.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, so transitioning on to kind of the next thing. So what do you guys think is next for you?
So we started off kind of totally winging it. This was like truly a hobby that has now turned into a part-time and around the holidays full-time job for us. And it started out, like we said, with our creativity, and we never knew it would manifest in meat and cheese, but we're so much more than that. And we're so excited to like do creative things that are more than just charcuterie. So we have kind of pivoted our Instagram just to do more creative things with food and holiday foods and seasonal decor and entertaining and recipes and, you know, things that we are doing in our everyday that make our lives a little more creative and magical. And we're just excited to share that with you guys. So
And some of the stuff we do, I feel like it looks so like difficult and all that. And we're like, really, it's not. So I think sharing these videos of how to make stuff that we're putting on our boards or just things we're making for fun, it's
or
just
like
good for
something
people
that's
to see.
5 ingredients. You know, people are more likely to try it if they see how easy it is. And it's stuff that we're already doing. And so we're excited to kind of open that door and share that side of our life. So
Well, you guys are great at teaching, and you've done the workshops. And,
Yeah.
like, I just feel like that this will be a great way for you to teach like a larger volume of people your tricks.
Yeah, and it's also fun for us. I mean, like she said, we're already doing it. We're making these cookies for our kids or family, and it's just kind of fun to make a video and share it with other people if they want a simple, like festive, you know, mummy cookie or something.
Yeah.
Silly,
No,
but
it's
it's
so
just
fun.
fun to do that.
yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
So what
you.
about like local partnerships? Do you guys try to do, you know, things with, we have so many amazing restaurants and food suppliers in St. Louis, specifically for like sausage. And can you kind of tell me kind of about your local partnerships that you have?
Yeah, so we try to use as much local as possible.
Yeah.
So Volpe is our go-to for meat. They're on the hill. A lot of the cheeses we use, most of them are like Illinois, Iowa. There's not a whole lot of creameries in Missouri, but we use the ones there are. So we try to do that. Jam we use from a local lady, Larder and Cupboard. We just got honey from a new company.
Brickhouse
Bees, yeah. And
St.
then
Louis
just collaborating
chocolate.
with other businesses. Like we were talking earlier, like one of our favorite things is we become friends with so many people just, on Instagram, and then you meet them in person, and it's just kind of fun talking to other people like you and all these other people we become friends
It's just
with.
so St. Louis, it's a small web.
Small, big
people
town.
mingle and, intermix, and
Yeah.
it's just, we love support. And I think that's part of why we are who we are now too, is like we started during COVID when supporting local was huge, and we've tried to stay true to that and still use that almost 3 years later. It's important to us. We're a small business. We know how hard it is to stay afloat with inflation and everything like that. So it's super important to us.
Even other businesses that aren't charcuterie or food, local businesses, it's fun just to kind of brainstorm. And even though we're all in different like genres of things, like we've all gone through the same stuff being small business owners, like we could probably relate to you on a lot of things. And it's just kind of fun to brainstorm with them and talk about problems everyone faces and how we handle it. And we have a really good community in St. Louis of small businesses. So we've been lucky.
Yeah, we just did like a fun witches picnic with like our local balloon girls, picnic girls, cookie girls, so it's fun just to like kind of blend our worlds and like all come together, because we're all so talented and do different things, but we're also so similar. Like we're all very detail oriented and hardworking, and like when you come all together, it's magical, really.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that event that we had, maybe since this will be airing, and when will this be airing? In February? Maybe by then we'll have some fun stuff planned and an event.
Do some date night things.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you coming out and being on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
We can't wait to see our clients come and put some of your new ideas to life. We love new creative things. So I know that you guys can come up with some super unique things for our Westwood Hills brides and grooms.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks. We'll see you next time.